Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Jedediah. Jedediah, how are you doing?
Good to meet you, Qasim.
Awesome. Thank you. So, would you let us know what you do and where you live?
So what I do, I basically fix people's minds, and I live in North Carolina in the United States.
Awesome. So, will you let us know how you fix the people's mind? Isn't it a hard job at all?
Well, how I do it, what I do is not based in psychology, it's not based in psychiatry, it's not based in any kind of like established science of the mind. What I do is very much more like electrical engineering or software coding. And so basically kind of started 2 years ago, actually December of 2022, so almost exactly 2 years ago. And I just started kind of wanting to become a mindset coach. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was like, well, I'll figure it out, right? And so with my first client, I developed methodologies that were so powerful that it was like working better than anything else that was out there. And so I just kind of started doing it, as a business.
Awesome. Awesome. So, can you give us the inspiration? Tell us a little bit about the inspiration, why you started this business, and what is the main reason behind?
Well, originally, about 10 years ago, I went through an extremely difficult time in my life. I experienced severe trauma, and it totally turned my life upside down. And I was so mentally gone. I was like staring at a wall for weeks at a time. Like that's how badly it affected me. It completely ripped away my self-esteem, my identity, everything. And so I spent a number of years just basically trying everything that was out there to fix myself, and nothing was working. Like even the most reputable stuff, it never actually seemed to fix the pain, fix the problem. It just kind of helped you deal with the pain that was there. And I was like, this is, not working. So I kind of gave up on it. And then, so I was actually in the sales industry. I was working as a head sales coach at a $10 million a year sales agency. And I wanted to do something on the side on my own, and I wanted to do coaching, but I couldn't do sales coaching because it was a conflict of interest. So I was like, well, I've studied all this stuff about mindset, all the years. Nothing really worked, but maybe I can figure something out. So that was kind of like, let me just do it and see what happens. And that's really what happened.
Awesome. So, have you seen any gap in the market? If there is anything that others are not doing, like maybe some psychologists are not doing this. So, what is the exact gap that you found in the market?
The gap is that nobody understands how the mind works at all. Like literally. Okay, so basically everyone thinks that the mind is basically the brain and the body, and it's not true. And so the brain and the body is like 1% of what the mind is. And they're experts in the brain, they're experts in the body and neurology and psychology and psychiatry. That has nothing to do with the mind. And so with me, taking a different scientific approach to it, I've been able to fix stuff that psychologists and psychiatrists can't. So for instance, one of my clients came to me with ADHD, executive dysfunction, depression, anxiety, was only able to work like 1 hour a day. Now all that stuff is gone, is able to put in 12 hours of like hard focus a day, top appointment setter at his company. So it's like, it's not like I was trying to become what I am, which is like a very, very high-end mind expert, but it just kind of happened because I understood things about the mind and about reality that science hasn't quite caught up to yet.
And so I believe this is very interesting thing, like increasing the productivity. This is one of the core thing for anyone, I believe, for the companies and for the individuals as well. So can you share some of the main elements that are involved in improving the productivity?
So most everyone will kind of attack the problem from the outside in, which is like they try and develop habits, or they try and reframe your way of thinking, or they try and distract you, or different stuff. They're basically just managing the symptoms. And the reality is that basically everything that we would consider to be wrong with the mind, any kind of mental issue, comes down to really 3 or 4 things. And as you start fixing those things, all of those symptoms start to go away as a natural consequence. So there are stuff out there that, is somewhat effective for, time management and productivity management. But at the end of the day, you'll never be your true level of productivity until you start getting rid of that inner stuff that's actually holding you back.
All right. So, do you have something about in your mind, like about the brain time and physical time? Because I believe this is a big trauma in the market that people are physically available for their
Mhm.
work, even if they are working from home or they are working from their office, they are physically available over there. But
Mhm.
mentally, like they are not available. Their brain time in the office maybe 1 hour, 2 hour maximum, hypothetically 3 hours, but most of the time there are a lot of distractions with them.
Mhm.
So do you know how we can reduce these distractions, or maybe if we can avoid these distractions?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things that you can do immediately, which is one, mental segmenting, which is that if I'm at work, I'm 100% at work, nothing else exists, right? If I'm with my family, nothing else exists, right? And so part of the problem is that people kind of leave their mind open to everything, and everything comes in and everything comes out, and they can't focus on any one thing because it's all happening at the same time. And that kind of covers two principles of the mind, is that one, the mind does not understand time, and the mind is not able to handle more than one thing at a time. So it's like the only thing that exists to the mind is the thing that you're focusing on. Even if you're trying to do a bunch of different stuff, multitasking doesn't work. And every time you switch gears, you're putting strain on your brain, right? Like the actual physical organ of your brain. And there's only so much you can do that before it gives up. Right. So that's part of it, is the mental segmenting. And then the second part is just priorities. Like, okay, maybe you're not focused on your job because you don't like your job, right? And you're just not admitting to yourself that you're not living the life that you want to be living. And so most of your energy in your mind is actually thinking about the life you want instead of the life you have, and you're not actually taking action in the real world to achieve that real life.
Awesome. This makes sense. Completely makes sense. So, in terms of letting people know, because there's a possibility that many people are working in the market and they even don't know they are suffering with this problem. They even
Mhm.
don't know how productive they are, how effectively they are using their mind, how effectively they are using their brains. So, how you let people know, okay, there is something that you need some therapy, or maybe you need or help. So are you doing something to check them towards your side, or people know like they are facing this problem and they come to you?
Yeah, so there's really kind of two types of people that need what I do, which is, one is the people that know they have a problem and they've literally tried every kind of therapy that's out there. They've tried medication, they've tried meditation, they've tried spiritual stuff, they've tried practical stuff. Nothing has worked, and they just don't know what to fix, what works, right? Those are the people, some of my best clients. Like one of my, C-level executives that I worked on as a client spent $250,000 on personal growth over the lifetime, and they said what I do is like blows all that stuff out of the water. So clearly they knew they had a problem and they just needed the right solution, which is what I do. And then the other camp of people are the people that don't realize they have a problem. They might be outwardly successful. They have the cars and the houses and, the income and the job title and all this stuff, but there's something missing, right? And they might not be able to put their finger on it. Maybe it's something they feel that they're lacking, or there's emotional turmoil, or they're stressed out, or whatever, and they just want to pretend that it doesn't exist because they're outwardly successful. So it's really kind of capturing the people that know they need a problem, or know they have the problem and they need a better solution, and then trying to educate the people who don't even realize they have a problem to begin with.
So how you are educating people? Like, are you using social media? You are advertising somewhere? Like, how you are letting them know, how you are educating them about this topic?
Yeah, so I've been basically doing YouTube and Facebook as my primary advertising platforms. And just recently, I just kind of transitioned to doing LinkedIn, kind of going more towards, C-level executives as my targeting. So basically, the education is just content over time. I don't have any, set product of education because everyone is in a different situation. Even if their symptoms look the same, the causes of those symptoms could be completely different. And so there's not really a one size fits all for what I do. So it's about telling them that there is another way versus, exactly what needs to happen in any given situation.
All right. So I believe you are one of the real entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship is something where you are fixing a problem, or you are coming up with something new. And I believe you are doing both of the things. So
Mhm.
let me know who are the handling who are handling the responsibilities. Like I can believe in any organization there can be multiple directors as well, and there's a possibility that one director is wearing multiple hats. I believe you must be wearing multiple hats as well. So what is that you are delegating to others, and what is the work that you are doing solely by yourself? Like I want to know, maybe if you are running this campaign, educational campaign on social media, or you are giving this task to someone else, and what you are handling exactly.
Yeah, so basically all of the activity side of things I'm handling myself, doing my own post, doing the fulfillment, fixing people's minds, all of the sales, all of the marketing, everything, I'm doing all that myself. As far as like educating myself on how to do the marketing and whatnot, a lot of my clients have been salespeople, have been marketers, and so a lot of them have been just like I'm learning from my clients how to actually sell what I do, because when I put this out into the market, it sounds either too good to be true, or it sounds like I'm insane or something. Like, how can this guy with no experience be better than psychologists and psychiatrists? And it's like, so I'm trying to bridge that gap of like, how do I communicate what I do in kind of a rational way that gets people interested without making them think, something is insane or whatever. So that's been probably my biggest challenge, is how do I effectively communicate how powerful it is without sounding like it's untrue.
Awesome. So, originally you are an electrical engineer and software engineer.
And,
So,
well, I mean, that's what I'm doing in the mind. I don't have a background in electrical engineering. I don't have a background in computer software. I have an accounting degree, and I've been in sales, for the last 13 years. So I can't even claim that. So my only expertise is that I can fix problems nobody else can. So
awesome. That's a big thing, I believe. That's a big thing. But I was just considering it because this knowledge can give you an insight how much you are using technology in your business and how it is facilitating your business. So let us know a little bit like how it is facilitating you.
yeah, it's helping out a great deal. I one of my clients, actually the one that referred me to this podcast, is actually like an expert in AI. He's an expert in organization and whatnot, and so he's given me basically a lot of like technology productivity tools, like a kind of an all-in-one browser, and helping me with the AI side of things. So that's helping out with content generation. It's helping out with SOP generation and whatnot. So it's taking a huge burden off, but there's still work to do to put in prompts and whatnot. So I don't think I'd be where I am right now without the technology, but it's not doing everything. There's still a lot that I have to do myself. So.
Yeah, obviously, a human touch is always required for
Mhm.
for better results. Yeah. So, will you share a biggest challenge with us, like that you are facing, or maybe you have ever faced?
You mean in business or in my
Yeah,
life
in
or
the
what?
business. In the
Yeah.
business.
Well, it really comes down to what I was talking about with the messaging. How do you communicate something so different? Like I use words that other people use because I don't know what to call this stuff. So I say trauma, right? But it's not what science calls traumas. I say limiting beliefs. That's not what science says beliefs are. And so it's like I'm trying to translate what I'm doing into something that people can understand. But when I do that, then the meaning behind it often ends up lost. And so it's this very delicate balance of trying to communicate something nobody has ever encountered or experienced into common language so that people can understand. And that's been my challenge, is how do I do that? And that's why I've worked with so many of my clients, is just like, okay, you experience this way. How can we tell this to the market? How can we describe that in a way that people understand it? And so that's, once I figure that out, it's game over. But I'm not 100% sure I figured that out yet.
Awesome, awesome. So, will you share one strategy in your business that worked really well, and you know why it worked?
Yeah, so probably it's not so much a strategy as so much as a way of thinking, is that I used to buy like program after program, just trying to learn it and implement other people's systems, and it never seemed to work for me. And at a certain point I kind of realized other systems are not going to work for me. I have to build my own system, and I have to just get insight from other people, but ultimately I have to create something that's my own. And I think that will probably resonate with a lot of people, because everyone's like, oh, buy this system and you'll get a 90% close rate, and you try it and you're like, okay, it's not working, there's something wrong. So Just be yourself and learn from the experts, but don't try and throw yourself out to become like them.
Awesome, awesome. So, in terms of acquiring the clients, acquiring a customer is one of the most important factor for every business, for every business. So, whenever we say like acquiring a customer, how it sounds for you, like, does it sounds for you to meditate, maybe help in meditate, or maybe this sounds like a patient for you that you have to onboard a patient, and how this process works for you, how you onboard a customer.
Yeah, so I have kind of a series of documents that I'll give. So the agreement, this is not a psychological practice, this is really a spiritual practice, truly. And then there's, explanations of what trauma is, what information I need to fix that, what to expect after I fix trauma. And then there's, all this, it really depends on what problem they have. But basically, it's just like we decide to work together, we schedule a time, and I just crack open the hood on your head and, start going to work. So there's not really a lot of homework to do beforehand. There's not homework to do after. It's like literally I just go and fix the stuff in your head and everything else resolves as a result. So it's kind of very show up and let me fix you type of thing.
Awesome. So at this point, you are available, like your services are available for everybody in the whole world, or you are just targeting a specific area?
Yeah, I mean, I worked on pretty much everybody, but this is just really kind of like a strategic decision to go in the level of C-level executives because I've heard people doing a lot less than I do and charging a whole lot more. And so there's definitely a need for what I do, and I need to actually start charging the prices that facilitate that. And there's not everyone that can afford that. So it's really just like I'm trying to target the people that can actually afford what I do.
All right, awesome. So when we are talking about the customers, like, do you think your major, not the customers are, you can say like customers are, you can say your clients. So do you think most of the customers are coming from the online platforms like social media, or you think word of mouth is more workable for you?
Yeah, probably about 70-80% of my business has come from word of mouth of my customers being so happy with me that they're referring to other people because I haven't figured out the marketing side of things yet. I don't have a marketing background. So very, very little of my business has come from that. But like everyone that loves what I do, they're just like, hey, you need to work with him, you need to work with him, you need to work with him type of thing. And that's just kind of how I've organically grown.
Awesome, awesome. So, what are your growth plans in future? Like maybe you can say like in short term plans like 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months is just working with probably about 2 to 4 clients a month, and it's like I don't want this to take over my life. This is sort of like a lifestyle business for me. So I just want, decent income, decent whatnot. And then I have other projects that I'm doing that are sort of related, from my point of view, extremely related. It might not seem related to you, but it's kind of like this is a stepping stone to bigger things, if that makes sense.
All right. So I believe in your case, your business is very unique, and the services that you are providing are very unique. And for me, it's a bit complex as well to define how you define your success. Obviously, there's one thing is always, which is the revenue side, right? So other than revenue, how do you define your success or your business success?
Yeah, my success is defined when I actually help people, when I actually fix problems. I do not at all agree with the idea of going to therapy for the rest of your life, getting on medication for the rest of your life. Like the problem is either fixed or it's not, right? So that's how I define success. Like you're either getting results, your life is transforming, or there's something we missed, right? And that's the reality of it. And it's so quick. Like once we identify what's wrong in the mind, it takes like 5-10 minutes to fix it, no matter what it is. Like, and that's not saying that, someone has like a complex issue like ADHD or something that doesn't take 5 minutes because there's a lot of different things, but each subcomponent of that takes 5-10 minutes. So as soon as we identify it, we just knock it out. And it's like, boom, then it's gone. Then I know I was successful.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So, will you give a biggest piece of advice to our viewers? And our viewers are mostly the entrepreneurs.
Biggest advice. Trust yourself, never give up. You will be hit with so much adversity, you will be so tempted to give up, but you just got to stick with it. That's the only thing you can do.
Indeed, indeed. For entrepreneurs and founders, this is the biggest thing. If they can survive, if they can wait, if they have patience, then they can do it for sure. Awesome. Thank you. Will you please let our viewers know how they can reach you if they want to reach you? If you can share your social media handles, email, website, whatever you want to. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn, so you can search for me, Jedediah Thomas, and then I actually have two profiles. So go to the one with the mastered mind, big green banner, and then I also have a landing page website, themasteredmind.io. So you can check me out in either place. I also have a YouTube. I get into some crazy spiritual stuff in the YouTube, so depending on how much you align with that, that might that might resonate with you or freak you out. But that's your mastered mind on YouTube. So there's a few places you can check me out, but yeah, I'm definitely around.
Awesome. Jedediah, that was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I believe you are doing a lot of work for a cause. Not you are not just doing a business. This is a cause, and if
Yep.
you're helping someone, this is the biggest thing, and the main reason for a smile, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you
Absolutely.
so much for joining us today. It was really nice to talk to you.
All right. Thank you, Qasim. It was a pleasure being here.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.